I'm Emily, and for the first video of the year, I'm going to be showing you how to make some winter letter keychains. So what I'm going to be doing is making a 2-layer keychain with a clear layer and a color layer. And for the first layer, I'm going to get some glitter ready. So I've got this snowflake glitter mix from Hobby Lobby, and in my first hole in my palette, I've got some full-sized white snowflakes. And then in the second one, I cut them in half. And then I repeated this process with the silver ones. And then I've also got some blue iridescent flakes. And also some little stars. And then I'm going to add in some more blue stars from the Hobby Lobby mix. And also, I can't do a project without my favorite hexagon glitter, and then I've got all these other ones I'm going to use. So I've mixed up some clear resin and I'm pouring in a thin layer into each hole, and then I'm just going in and putting in glitter and beads as I see fit for each letter. I've also got some iridescent powder pigment that I'm putting in some of them as well. After a day of curing, I started pouring the final layer. I made some white resin with some iridescent colors, and then I counted a certain amount to be white, and then the rest I want to be blue. So I added a few drops of blue for the next few letters, and then I added a few more drops for the final ones. And I actually didn't mix enough resin, so I had to mix some more. Then the next day after that, I'm ready to demold them. So I've already demolded a couple off camera, but now I'm going to show you all of the rest of them. So I see here with the letter I cut the snowflakes in half so that they could stay on the edges, but sometimes the resin can move your glitters around, especially when it's still thin. Later on, while I was adding all of the glitter and stuff, the resin started getting really thick, which made it difficult to work with, but at the same time it helped because it kept a lot of my snowflakes in place. So as you see me demolding all of these, you can see which snowflake stayed in place and which moved around. Overall, in the end, I'm still pretty happy with most of the designs. One of the designs was an absolute fail. Coming soon, this letter Q. The blue glitter, dark blue glitter, was a mistake. I should not have added any of that. Luckily, I didn't add them in any of the other letters, so all of them look fine. But yeah, I'll just let you watch how all the rest of them came out. Here are all the letters demolded, and now it's time for me to start turning them into keychains. So I've got some screw pins, jump rings, and keychain rings. And I've also got some little beads here that I made into loops with my little one-step loop maker. I despise making loops on my own with pliers, so I got this little thing here, and all you gotta do is squeeze it and then it makes a loop for you. And I also have my little drill here. I had one that I got from Amazon, but the charger stopped working, so I needed a new one, and I got this one from Harbor Freight Tools, and it's much higher quality than the one I had before, so I guess it's good that the other one died. Anyway, I'm going to make holes in all of my letters so that I can screw in the screws and get them all finished up. Now I'm screwing in each pin. First I add some UV resin to the hole. Then I screw in the pin, add more resin, and then cure that because I want the keychains to be as secure as possible. To assemble the keychains, I take a jump ring, open it, and then I add on the bead and connect that to a keychain ring. Then I'd get another jump ring, and then I connect the bead to the letter. Final step for finishing our keychains is adding a final layer of UV resin. This step isn't necessary, but I think that it adds so much more shine and makes the product look more finished. So I'm just taking a little bit of UV resin and using a toothpick to spread it around. For this step, definitely be careful, especially if your resin is thin. Mine is pretty thin, so for a couple of my letters, the resin spilled over the edge. I also recommend using a lighter to get rid of any extra air bubbles that may be still in your resin. I didn't do this, and luckily I didn't have to deal with too many air bubbles, but if you are struggling with that, consider adding that step. Okay, here are all the finished keychains. I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. What do you guys think? When I was coming up with the idea for these keychains, I was pretty inspired by the ones I did before, the Galaxy ones, so I wanted to try doing the 2-layer design again, and I think that's probably like my signature thing. It's probably my favorite way to make letter keychains now, so expect to see more. Probably, definitely in the spring. I bet I'll do a flower themed one. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, consider giving my channel a subscribe and liking this video. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!